snow, ice and tarmac. All adding up to a true test of the world's greatest drivers, as it has been for decades.
Monte Carlo is special for the weather, for the condition. Is the roads are, especially this year, really fast and with a lot black top, really slippery places.
Here it's so easy to say when you're in the service park, I take these tires, but then the weather might be completely different out there in the mountains, so you really need to get the information from your safety crews when they drive through the stages.
The conditions can change vastly within 2 hours, so it's tricky. Obviously, to make the tire call, to get all the information right, it's probably what makes Monte Carlo so special.
This kind of rally, you have to respect it a lot, and normally to win it, you never have to be 100%.
I've been here in full snow and in full dry, so you never know what's going to really happen, but one thing is for sure that it's always tricky.
Well, there's a very different look to this year's event, with a return to the Hautes-Alpes capital Gap for the opening phase, which features several stages not used for more than a decade. Come Friday, day 2, they'll decamp to Monte Carlo, tackling some notorious French mountain tracks, including the infamous and often treacherous Col de Turini by day, and then again a second run in the dark. A new season, and for the second year running we welcome a new team with the return of Hyundai, led by young Belgian Thierry Neuville, here alongside Danny Sordo, who will compete in the tarmac events. Champions Volkswagen, the only team with an unchanged lineup, world #1 Sebastian Ogier, partnered once again by Jari Matti Latvala. Norway's Andreas Mikkelsen, again part of the VW setup. At Citroën, it's an all-new lineup. Briton Chris Meek is in the team full-time after a couple of rallies last year. He's joined by Norwegian Mads Osberg, who's made the switch from M Sport. Moving in the opposite direction, Mikko Hirvonen is back with M Sport after 2 seasons at Citroën. Alongside him, young Welshman Elvin Evans graduates to a full-time drive after impressing on his debut in Sardinia last year. Also joining the full-time WRC ranks, former F1 star Robert Kubica, fresh from winning the WRC2 championship. He's definitely one to watch again in what promises to be an intriguing season. As is privateer Martin Prokop. The popular Czech driver will tackle 12 of the 13 rounds, also in a Ford. So that's the lineup. Here are the all-important dates. 13 rounds starting in Monte Carlo, then the full-blown snow of Sweden before the hot, dusty gravel tracks of Mexico. Poland makes a welcome return to the championship this year. Wales Rally GB providing the traditional finale in November. That's fully 10 months away, of course. Right now it all starts with a considerable challenge that is Monte Carlo. Wet, cold, every chance of snow, tyre choice critical, winter and studded rubber available if required. And here's how day 1 will shape up. 6 stages in the Hautes-Alpes area, a round gap, 2 loops of 3 either side of a lunchtime service, 126 competitive kilometres, almost 400 kilometres on the roads in between. And typical of this rally, changing conditions, a big factor. As we now join your commentator, John Desborough.
Kevin, 1911 was the first time they came here to rally, and pretty much ever since, that weather has been catching these drivers out. The French call it imprévisible, fickle. And the world champion Sebastian Ogier is going to have another word for it in about a couple of kilometres' time.
60 mètres. Gauche 120 plus mini. Gauche 120 plus mini.
In the darkness, Thierry Neuville staring into the unknown. Despite all of his achievements last year, he's tried 3 times to finish this classic, and this is number 4. And it's going to last just a handful of kilometres.
Ça va? Ouais. Ça finit. Ouais, je crois, ouais.
And as we have a look at that again, remember, on the Monte Carlo, there's no second chance with Rally 2.
Ça va? Ouais.
That's it for Neuville's Hyundai debut. Mads Osberg claims not to fear the alpine elements when he faces them, provided that is they're covered in snow, snow and more snow. He has trouble with just a a little bit of slush. He's lucky to survive, but fortunate to find himself starting the car and facing in the right direction. But it's filthy weather, it's poor visibility so early in the morning, and maybe a case of hot head and cold tyres. A deep breath now for Elfyn Evans, one of 2 British drivers with a full season ahead of them, and that hasn't happened for over a decade.
Shining, 5 right. 5 right.
What a baptism of fire this is for the son of a former British champion, Gwyndaf, and he too has trouble keeping it pointing in the right direction. Robert Kubica refuses to give up. This is a hell of a first day at school for the man who almost lost his life at the wheel of a rally car. Let's see how he gets on this opening stage. We'll run his clock next to the world champion Sébastien Ogier. Ogier's time is set. That's the one in the green. The end of the stage is coming up for Kubica. The clock comes to a halt, and he's quicker by getting on for almost a second a kilometre.
Very, very difficult. Then we did mistake. We did some modification on the car, and we didn't lock the extra lights, so the lights were bouncing in the high speed. I couldn't see anything in high speed, but it's long rally, and this was most difficult stage of my life, definitely.
This is Chris Meek, who won this event for Citroën back in the noughties as a junior, but that wasn't in this beast of a car. And this opportunity, admits, will mean nothing if he doesn't make something of it. And he curbs his enthusiasm for this massive career break and tiptoes his way to take the 5th fastest stage time.
That is a baptism of fire, to say the least. Incredible. No one expected that. I believe everyone was on the slick tyre, but first corner even caught me out. There was some snow and you couldn't see it in the darkness, and then after we went over the call, you're crawling. I remember watching my recce video last night. I think it was faster than this, so it was crazy start, but we're here, so it's good.
Chris Meek survives on the stage that takes out Thierry Neuville and his brand new Hyundai.
We had not the good tires, but then I adapt my rhythm quite quickly. But obviously, yeah, in a fast right-hander, I lose the front, and I try to avoid a pole. But then, yeah, the rear slides, and we just touch it with the rear, and we bent the exhaust and the rear of the car, and yeah, we have to retire there. So it's obviously not what we wanted, not what the job we had to do.
So what a start to the new season. Robert Kubica, the early leader, ahead of Frenchman Bouffier. Clipping a wall cost the world champion almost 20 seconds. Meek is 6th. Hervenen with work to do. His first stage back in a Fiesta, leaving a bit to be desired. An eventful start to the new campaign then, and if they thought it was going to get any easier, well, they could not be more wrong, as we shall see very shortly. Welcome back to Rallye Monte Carlo, where a fascinating start to the WRC season is unfolding. In this, the opening phase of the rally, this year based in Gap. They love their sport here. Gap is birthplace of world champion Sébastien Ogier. It was voted the most popular major sporting city in France last year. And once again, plays host to the WRC service park until tomorrow, when the crews decamp to Monte Carlo, a fitting venue for the most famous rally of them all. Living up to its reputation, expect more of the unexpected now as we rejoin John.
Kevin, you have to admire the dedication of these fans in this lingering chill. Dedication and a good bobble hat. So, then there was one Hyundai I'm talking about, and this is Danny Sordo, but a fan of the Monte. Always felt comfortable rallying here, and now he's the new team's last hope. Sordo flying solo, his tyres crossed. More on that crossing of tyres business in just a second. Now, they do say that the way to finish this event is to pretend that your valuable car is actually your dad's. Work with me on this. You tell yourself you've borrowed it, and your dad doesn't know. So you're forced to go carefully, Mads Osberg. Carefully. Mads gets away with this, and between ourselves, his dad doesn't need to know about that. But this is the ever-present danger. You never know if you're on the right tyres. You've never got complete grip, and oversteer is always there. Mads in 5th place. Plenty more to come where that came from. Now, this year there are 4 types of tyres for the drivers to choose from. Robert Kubica has chosen slicks. They worked on stage 1, described by Robert as the hardest of his life.
Prawy 3 Bast Media 20, lewy 2 plus puszczą Logic 30, lewy 5 hamuj 40, lewy nawrót ciasny.
You can only imagine how much fun it is driving in these conditions, in this light. Robert wins stage 2 to go with stage 1, and he keeps the lead as well, thanks to a couple of hefty cuts.